Students, in the last video, I taught you about oxidation and reduction reaction. But in some reactions, okay, or in some equations, you will find that the one of the reactant has taken, that is oxidation has taken place, and in the case of another reactant, reduction reaction has taken place. Okay, so the reaction in which both the that is both reduction as well as oxidation has taken place, such type of reaction we call it as redox reaction. Now see, here in this equation you can see copper oxide plus hydrogen. Okay, yes, so in these two cases you can see, in this case copper oxide, okay, see, copper oxide you can see has become copper. Means what has happened in this case, oxygen is lost during the formation of product copper, isn't it? So this cupric oxide has lost oxygen, right? So copper oxide has lost oxygen during the formation of copper. So what type of reaction is this? If it has lost oxygen, it is reduction reaction. Now see, this hydrogen which is there, okay, during the formation of water, what has become? It has gained oxygen, right? So it has gained oxygen. So what type of reaction is this? This is oxidation reaction. So when hydrogen gas is passed over black copper oxide, a reddish colored layer of copper is formed. Okay, remember this copper oxide, this is black in color and red color copper has been formed. Okay, so when you pass hydrogen gas through this black colored copper oxide. Now, which is the reductant in this reaction and which reactant has undergone reduction? Yes, now see, which is the reductant? Now you saw, yes, in this reaction an oxygen atom goes away from copper oxide, which means that reduction of copper oxide takes place, whereas hydrogen molecule takes up oxygen atom and water is formed, meaning oxidation of hydrogen takes place. Thus, oxidation and reduction reaction occur simultaneously. So, in this reaction, you can see that oxidation and reduction reaction has taken place simultaneously at the same time. So, the reductant is oxidized by the oxidant and the oxidant is reduced by the reductant. Due to this characteristic of the reduction and oxidation reaction, a single term redox reaction is used in place of the two terms. Now see, you saw in this case, okay, wait, see, I'll show you. Now see, see, in this case, what has happened? In this case, oxygen has been lost. So, this is reduction reaction, right? And in this case, oxygen has been gained. So, this is oxidation reaction, right? Yes. Now, copper oxide has been reduced to copper. Now, see, this hydrogen which is there, okay, this is going to reduce copper, and copper which is there, okay, this copper oxide which is there, this is going to reduce, this is going to oxidize hydrogen. So, okay, now where the reduction and oxidation reaction occurs simultaneously, such type of reaction we call it as redox reaction. So, in the word itself it is there, redox, RE means what? reduction has taken place. OX means what? Oxidation has taken place. So redox reaction. Now use your brain power. Some more examples of redox reactions are as follows. Identify the reductants and oxidants from them. Now you are going to find out this. I have taught you right in the above equation, which we are going to call it as where oxidation has taken place and which is the oxidant, and where reduction has taken place and which is the reductant. If oxidation means losing electrons, then what is meant by reduction? Of course, if oxidation means losing electrons, reduction means gaining electrons. Write the reaction of formation of Fe2 plus by reduction Fe3 plus by making use of the symbols E minus. Okay, so how you are going to get Fe2 plus by reduction? Okay. Yes, how Fe2 plus has been formed. Fe by reduction of Fe3 plus. Okay, so Fe3 plus, how you are going to get Fe2 plus, right? Yes, formation of Fe2 plus. Now Fe3 plus should become Fe2 plus means you are not going to minus proton from that. What you have to do? You have to, yes, add electron to this, right? Yes, one electron is added to this, right? So then, okay, if this gains one electron, okay, then the positive charge is going to decrease, right? Yes. The luster of the surface of the aluminium utensils in the house is lost after a few days. Why does this happen? Okay, so aluminium, yes, aluminium which is there, okay, after a few days, aluminium is silver colored, shines, but after some days what happens? A blackish color layer slowly forms on that, okay, and it loses its shine. So why do you think this happens? Because see, oxygen and moisture is present in the atmosphere, and because of this what happens? Aluminium combines with oxygen, okay, to form aluminium oxide, okay. Yes, aluminium oxide is formed. So because of the formation of aluminium oxide, it is going to lose its luster. Now, when the positive charge on an atom or an ion increases or the negative charge on them decreases, it is called oxidation, right? Just now I told you that if the positive charge, okay, if the positive charge or an ion increases or the negative charge on them decreases, then we call it as oxidation. And when the positive charge decreases, negative charge increases, then we call it as reduction. So what is oxidation? Yes, see, what is oxidation? What is going to happen in case of oxidation? Positive charge, okay, is going to increase, right? Positive charge is going to increase and negative charge is going to decrease, right? Yes. So this is oxidation. So what can the reduction be? Reduction, positive charge, yes, is going to increase, right? And negative charge will decrease. So, in case of reduction, what is going to happen? Positive charge is going to decrease or the negative charge is going to increase. And in case of oxidation, what is going to happen? Positive charge on an atom or an ion increases. So, if positive charge is going to increase, negative charge will decrease. Okay. Now, see, this definition is very important. Okay. Now, see, iron, you can see here oxidation has taken place and ferric oxide has formed. Okay, now see the arrow are, okay, the arrow are on the both the sides indicating both. What does this mean? Yes, this is reverse reaction, right? So iron forms iron oxide, again iron oxide is formed iron. Now see, that is ferrous oxide. Okay, now you know this Fe2O3, FeO from FeO, Fe2O3 has been formed. Okay, again this is also reversible reaction. Okay, now see, Fe is going to gain oxygen and form FeO. So what type of reaction is this? This is oxidation reaction because oxygen has been gained here. Now here also FeO has formed Fe2O3. So oxygen again has been gained in this case. So this is oxidation reaction. Okay. Yes. Now reversible reaction, see, Fe2O3 has formed FeO here. Right. That means what? Oxygen has been lost. Right. So this is reduction reaction. Again here in this case also FeO has formed Fe. So here also oxygen has been lost. So this is also reduction reaction. Now do you know a redox reaction takes place during cellular respiration also. Here the molecule of the enzyme called cytochrome C oxidase help the transport of electron to bring about this reaction. Now see, this redox reaction, okay, which is there, it is taking place in our cellular respiration also. Okay, so how we say, that is why we are saying redox reaction is taking place in this case. Here the molecule of the enzyme, okay, which is called as cytochrome C. Okay, so which one? The molecule of the enzyme, okay, yes, called as cytochrome C, it is going to oxidase, okay, and it will help the transport of electron to bring about this reaction. So it's going to help for the transportation of electron, and in this way the reaction is brought about. So for the more information, you can refer life processes in the living organisms. Okay. Now see, the next part is corrosion. Okay. Yes. Now, what is this corrosion? You must have seen iron particles. Okay. Yes, iron particles which are there. After some days, what happens? You can see a reddish color layer has been formed on that, right? Yes. So, you know that in case of iron, we call it as rusting, right? In the case of iron, we call it as rusting, and because of this, you know, what happens is the corrosion has taken place and the metal becomes weak because of this. Yes. Now in case of aluminium also, what happens in the case of aluminium? It forms aluminium oxide, right? Yes. Then you can see there's some copper also, copper oxide is formed. Okay. So see, okay, try this apparatus required for this is 4 test tubes, 4 small iron nails, rubber cork. Okay. Then you are going, chemicals which you are going to take, you are going to take anhydrous calcium chloride, you are going to take some oil, you are going to take boiled water, okay, etc. Now place 4 test tube on a test tube stand. You are going to take 4 test tubes. Okay, yes, you can see over here 4 test tubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 test tubes are taken. Okay, yes, take some boiled water in one of the test tubes. So in this test tube, you are taking some boiled water. Okay, then and put an oil layer on it. So you have put some oil layer also, you can see over here. Take some salt water in the second test tube. Okay, in this test tube you are going to take some salt water. Okay, then in the third test tube, okay, let there be only air. In this test tube only air you have taken. Then take some anhydrous calcium chloride in the fourth test tube. Okay, yes, in the fourth test tube. Now you are going to place a small iron nail in every test tube. Okay, so what you have done in the first test tube? Yes, in this first test tube you have taken water, boiled water, and on that you have added a layer of oil. In the second test tube you have taken salt solution. In the third test tube you have taken only air. In the fourth test tube you have taken calcium chloride, anhydrous calcium chloride. Okay, so this you are going to keep all these four test tubes, you are going to keep it, okay, for some days without disturbing it. Observe all the four test tubes after a few days. What did you find? Which test tubes had the nails as before? Both water and air are necessary for rusting. Remember, always remember that water as well as air is necessary for rusting. Okay, the rusting process takes place rapidly in presence of a salt. Have you seen the effect of redox reaction in your everyday life? The new vehicles look shiny. On the contrary, old vehicles look dull, isn't it? So you know, the new vehicles, they look shiny, but when you compare the old vehicles, it looks dull. A certain type of reddish colored solid layer collects on their metallic surface, right? I told you, reddish color layer forms on the metallic surface. So this layer we call it as rust. So what is it called? It is called as rust. Now the chemical formula, okay, which is given for this rust is Fe2O3.XH2O. Now this formula of rust, okay, you learn it immediately. You get this for optional questions, okay, 1 mark questions and all. Very important this is, okay. You learn it off immediately, the formula of rust, that is Fe2O3.XH2O. The rust on iron does not form by simple reaction of oxygen with iron sulfate. The rust is formed by an electrochemical reaction. Okay, so this iron which is there, it's not a simple reaction which is taken, that is means it's combining with oxygen and rusting has taken place. No, it is formed by an electrochemical reaction. Different regions on the surface of iron become anode and cathode. So what is going to happen? The regions, okay, different regions on the surface of iron, it will become anode and cathode. So iron is oxidized to Fe2 plus in the anode region. So in the anode region what happens? This Fe which is there, okay, it is oxidized to Fe2 plus. Now means what? Oxidation has taken place because it has lost electron, right? Oxygen is reduced to form water in the cathode region. So in the cathode region what happens? It is going to form H2O, oxygen, okay. It is reduced, means how it is reduced, you can see here hydrogen is gained, right? So this is a redox reaction, okay, as well as electrons are gained here. When Fe2 plus ions migrate from the anode region, they react with water and further get oxidized to Fe3 plus ions. So a reddish colored hydrated oxide is formed from Fe3 plus ions. Okay, so what has happened? See, this Fe2 plus has become Fe3 plus, means what? This has lost one electron, right? And therefore one positive charge has increased. Okay, so this reddish colored hydrated oxide is Fe3 plus, okay, and we call it as rust. It gets collected on the surface, okay. Now this Fe3 plus which you have got now, yes, it's going to combine with water, okay, H2O, and it's going to form Fe2O3 dot X dot H2O. So plus 6 hydrogen H plus ions are liberated. Now due to various components of atmosphere, oxidation of metals take place, consequently resulting in their damage. Now you know there are various components in the atmosphere. So you know oxygen is there, water vapors are there, yes, moisture, that is water vapor means moisture is there. Because of all this, what happens is, you know, the oxidation of metals takes place, and because of this, you know, rusting in case of iron and corrosion takes place in other cases. It makes them weak, so that is why we call it as corrosion, okay. So this process we call it as corrosion. Iron rust, okay, this iron, it rusts and a reddish colored layer gets collected on it. I am sure everyone must have seen this. So this is corrosion of iron. Corrosion is a very serious problem, right? Yes. So we are going to study about it in the next chapter. Now find out how are the blackened silver utensils and patinated greenish brass utensils cleaned. Okay. So see, you can clean this blackened silver utensils and patinated brass utensils by cleaning it with baking soda. So what is this baking soda going to do? It is going to break the rust and the corrosion, that is the oxides which have been formed, okay. So you will get the luster back. Now rancidity, when we use, you must have heard of this word rancidity. Now you know your mother, she fries some food items like papad and all, and if you keep it just like that for a few days, what happens? You know, you get a bad smell out of it, bad odor, isn't it? And the taste also changes. So that is called as rancidity. Now see, when we use old leftover cooking oil for making foodstuff, it is found to have foul odor called rancidity. So if you use this leftover cooking oil, okay, which that is for a long time, if you keep it like that only and if you use it, what will happen? You are going to get this foul odor, okay. So that we call it as rancidity. If food is cooked in such oil, its taste also is going to change. So when oil or ghee is left aside for a long time, or fried food is left aside for a long time, it undergoes air oxidation and becomes rancid. So what is going to happen? If you keep oil or ghee for a long time, okay, or fried foods and all for a long time, like that only, then what is going to happen? Oxidation will take place, okay, and the food will become rancid, okay. So rancidity is the foodstuff cooked in oil or ghee is prevented by using antioxidants. So this rancidity, okay, how you can prevent this? You can prevent this by adding antioxidants, okay. So this rancidity will be, okay, prevented. You can prevent the rancidity of the food stuff by adding this antioxidants. You know, you eat this all this wafers, kurkures, lays and all, right? Yes, the packed food. Now you know they add this antioxidants to it, and that is why you don't get food that is bad odor. So the process of oxidation reaction of food stuff can also be slowed down by storing it in airtight containers. So you can do one more thing. You know, for the rancidity to take place, you require oxygen and moisture, right? Yes. Now you know this is there in the atmosphere. So if you store it in airtight container, you can prevent it from becoming rancid. See, I will show you rancidity, a small clip.
The next reaction is rancidity. Now, rancidity is actually a process. It is the process of oxidation of oil and fat which is present in the food, which results in bad smell and taste. And this whole process is called rancidity. Now, any food that has fat in it, what happens? It reacts with oxygen. Now, this is again, since oxidation is taking place, I will call rancidity a chemical process. So what is happening basically is these fat molecules are getting oxidized and they are giving me the products which will spoil the food. Now what are the methods of prevention? Now this is very important. First, I add antioxidants. Now, antioxidants are the substances which prevent the reaction of oxygen with this food particle. So I'll add antioxidants to it. Now, what are the example of antioxidants? Vitamin C is a good example of antioxidant. So to prevent food from getting rancid, one of the technique is to add antioxidants to it so that the process of oxidation is slowed down to a level. The second one is refrigeration, that is low temperature. Because the process of oxidation needs humidity, it needs warm environment. Now, if I'm creating low temperature, then this process of oxidation is slowed down, and again, it is one of the preventive measures. Now, this one, that is vacuum packing, you can see in Lay's packet also. You will find only 5 pieces of Lay's, but it will be full of air. Now, that air is not oxygen, it is actually nitrogen. Now, why? Just to prevent the particles of the food to react with oxygen, we add nitrogen gas to it so that the process of rancidity is slowed down. So these are the 3 techniques to prevent rancidity.
Now a small clip regarding corrosion, we'll see.
What materials do you think will be in the best condition when they are rediscovered? Pause, think, and continue when ready. If you think the gold ring is likely to be in the best condition, you're right. The copper pipe and the iron nail will appear in a worse condition, but the aluminium toy is also preserved very well. Most likely, the iron nail will appear in the worst condition. This is because of corrosion. Corrosion is described as formation of compounds on the surface of a metal when it is exposed to air and or water or an electrolyte like salt water. Typically, once a metal corrodes, it forms compounds known as oxides or hydrated oxides. The nail, made of iron, rusted. This, by the way, is the only time you should use the term rusting. All other metals are considered as having been corroded when they react with water and or oxygen in the air. But why would the nail be more corroded than the aluminium toy, the copper pipe, or the gold ring? Have you any ideas? Pause the video and continue when ready. The reason is the metals all have different reactivities. Iron corrodes faster because it is more reactive than the copper and the gold. But you may be wondering, well, why didn't the aluminium toy corrode the fastest? The truth is, the aluminium is more reactive than the iron, so it reacts fastest with the oxygen from the air, forming aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide is very unreactive because once the oxide layer is formed on the surface, it binds very tightly to the surface of the metal, so no cracks can form and cause further corrosion. Here's a challenge. How might you use this idea to protect the iron nail? The answer is that by covering a metal like iron with another more reactive metal, like zinc, is that the zinc forms the zinc oxide layer quickly. The iron underneath is protected. This process is called galvanizing and can last up to 100 years. If you think of the metal on a bike, corrosion can be prevented by painting the frame, a static part, or greasing the metal parts like the chain which moves, or by covering it with a thin layer of a less reactive metal like tin, copper or gold, but that would be very expensive.
Now see, with this I have completed this lesson. Okay. Yes. So solve this exercise again. Let me tell you that any doubts, call me on my number, and you are going to post the exercise on my number. Okay. Yes.